Welcome back to Tyron Paulson Drives on the YouTube channel, where you get your car reviews served with a dash of sarcasm and a side of, well, sense. Well, maybe like a full portion of sense. Now, if you've watched this YouTube channel before, you would know that I have previously driven the Chery Tiggo Cross Elite all the way from Cape Town to Azerfontein, and probably did that round trip that weekend about 5 times. And today, we're keeping to the Chery Tiggo Cross family, but this time we go a little bit hybrid-ish. Meet the Tiggo Cross Hybrid, or CSH Hybrid, for 2025. It kind of looks the same, right? But trust me, it is very different from its siblings. So buckle up as I spill the electric beans. The 2025 Chery Tiggo Cross Hybrid slots neatly under the 500,000 Rand mark, making it possibly the cheapest hybrid SUV in South Africa right now. The Comfort starts at 439,900 Rand and the Elite at 469,900 Rand. That's notably cheaper than the Toyota Corolla Cross HEV by about 54,000 Rand on the base model. Value for money? Definitely. Yes, you'll be saving a little extra to maybe be able to buy an extra round for the fellas, if you know what I mean. However, the Elite petrol version is still 20,000 Rand less at 449,900 Rand. But now you get hybrid savings overall with this car, alongside some pretty sharp chrome and LED stylings that you find around the car. There's some new wheel designs, there's an electric sunroof, and some other extras on the inside of the car if you choose the Elite version. But overall, it's enough to make your wallet smile. Okay, time to get a little bit sciencey. How does this thing move? Well, the Chery Hybrid Self-Charging System, or CSH as it's called, literally does all the work for you. There's no plugging in. All you gotta do is, well, literally basically what it does, just by driving it, it makes it all work. It charges itself. And it makes use of 4 different driving models to keep you moving. First up, it has what you call a pure electric mode, which is ideal for creeping through traffic with 0 petrol use. And then there's the Series Hybrid mode. This is when the battery is kind of low and you're cruising at kind of moderate speeds, if you know what I mean. Then the engine turns into a generator and charges the battery almost like a range extender. Sounds complicated, but it's a lot less sci-fi, and yeah, anyways. And then there's what they call the parallel hybrid mode, where both engine and electric motor pushes power to the wheels, especially when you're overtaking or hitting the freeway at a lot more higher speeds. And finally, there's engine direct drive. So what that means is at high speeds, the engine goes into, well, it sends all the power literally straight to the wheels, but the electric motor is still there to nudge you along when you need it. Now, talking about the motors that's in here, under the bonnet, you get a 1.5 liter naturally aspirated petrol engine, producing 71 kilowatts and 180 Newton meters of torque. Plus, you get an electric motor and battery pack that collectively, all of it then gives you 150 kilowatts and 310 Newton meters. Yes, that's actually solid performance for this price in a small little compact SUV. It will rocket this car from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in about 7.6 seconds. Of course, you got to be in its sport mode for this. So yeah, it'll probably leave that uncle's Polo GTI trailing in the dust. But yeah, I'm not that kind of uncle to kind of do that types of driving, if you know what I mean, because it's all about fuel saving in this car. Yeah, I'm responsible, but it is quick. And talking about saving fuel, its claimed fuel consumption is 5.4 liters per 100 kilometers, which in my book, well, it's definitely a win, especially if you're trying to keep from becoming besties with your petrol station attendant, if you know what I mean, because I know a lot of them personally already. Well, most importantly for us South Africans, being all budget conscious, because we have to be, it comes with a 5-year 150,000 kilometer warranty, also a 10-year unlimited kilometer battery warranty, and a 5-year 60,000 kilometer service plan. So overall, that's some serious peace of mind there, especially when you'd rather spend your money on maybe biltong and some other lekker goodie gats. than on spending money on surprise, repairs that you need to do.
Remember when we reviewed the Tiggo Cross Elite? I was impressed with its interior finishes, ambient lighting, and almost premium for prices that don't feel real vibe. Well, plug and play that to the Hybrid and you get all that plus electrified savings. It's like dressing up last week's outfit and discovering it now comes with a smartwatch.
Inside both trims of the Tiggo Cross Hybrid, you get a decent suite of kit. You get the 3 digital displays, one for the driver, one for the infotainment display, and you even get one for the aircon controls over here. And the best part, it's got physical buttons that you can directly interact with and even change the temperature controls. Then it's got soft touch materials on the dash and on the doors. Now the Elite, it ups the ante a little with things like dual zone climate control. It gets this tiny little new sunroof that it has. Then it's got a leather trim steering wheel, which by the way feels good to the touch. Plus, there's also seat heating for the front passengers. Now, just like the petrol version that we reviewed, this is a very decent setup, especially at this price point. Right, so off we go, driving inside of the Chery Tiggo Cross Hybrid Elite, or CSH. Getting into this car the first time is, you kind of need to get used to it. Because by default, the car goes into its eco mode, which is its most efficient mode. And the car feels very chilled, very relaxing, maybe sometimes even too relaxing. But then again, that is exactly what you get from an HEV, right? This isn't a performance car, even though it kind of looks like it, it isn't. One thing I needed to get used to is this electronic shifter though. It does feel a little bit weird, and the reason for that being is it feels like you need to double click it to get it into the required gear that you want to go into. But I understand why they do that, because it's from a safety sake. There's no handbrake in here, so once you put it in gear, it's ready to go. But once you start going and moving, it's smooth, and ever so often you hear the engine kick in and you won't even notice it, especially when you have your radio on. I mean, it's just so good. But when you do flip it into sports mode,
it has entered sport mode.
Thank you. Then it becomes a bit of a other kind of a scary little monster. It's like it just wants to go quicker, wants to go faster. And it, funny enough, gives you that push yourself back in your chair kind of performance. But you shouldn't be doing that the whole time, because you're buying this car for its fuel efficiency. And if you're going to drive it in sports mode, say goodbye to that. Talk about that fuel efficiency. 5.4 liters per 100 kilometers it's the way this car does it. It almost feels like it's smug with regards to its efficiency. It's like it's shouting at all the other cars out there, hey, are you still filling up every single week? Ah, shame. I mean, that's a good thing, right? Because that means more money in your pocket for things like extra road trip snacks and airtime, or very expensive overpriced coffee. But overall, just like the petrol version, this is a very pleasurable little car to drive. It's small in size, but it gives you that big boy kind of attitude when you're behind the wheel, and that's good. It's perfect for city driving. I mean, trust me, I've tested it to nauseam. On the long road, it's still decent and nippy and punchy, but I do think the petrol performance is better. But then again, you're going to get a lot better fuel economy out of this one. Now, with all of that said, I know you're probably thinking like, yeah, it can't just be all sunshine and butterflies when it comes to this car. And you're right, because no cars are 100% perfect. So let me give you a kind of a breakdown about what I think about some of its pros and cons. One of its pros definitely is its punchy little engine. It is very punchy. It gives you quite very good, decent performance. It's way more zippier than the petrol model. And most importantly, unlike a lot of other, cars that's out there, NEVs, new NEVs, you don't have to like plug it into charge, so you won't forget about it. It'll just do it. And then it's, a lot cheaper than a lot of its rivals, like from Toyota and Haval. Oh, and then there's obviously the warranties, which is very good. On the con side though, the engine doesn't feel so refined, especially when you go into like higher speeds. It becomes really noisy and it kind of scares you just a little. Then it's battery. It's kind of small at 1.8 kilowatt hours, which means it doesn't have enough, power to give you sustained electrical driving. But I mean, that's not the point of an HEV. Everything's supposed to work together, right? And then there's obviously, like I mentioned, the learning curve on learning how to drive this car, well, more efficiently. Because you end up thinking it looks sporty, and then you're going to want to get the performance out of this car, and that's going to be really bad for your economy at the end of the day. And then ultimately, the one issue that we love here in South Africa to talk about is resale value. Right now, you're not going to get a better resale value from this car because it still goes up against things from Toyota, and everybody just buys that. But I mean, this is a good value for money little car, and I think you can expect great things from it right now and possibly in the future from Chery overall. So who knows? Yeah. It's a very good little car. I love driving it. And so will you. All right. So what's the final word on the 2025 Chery Tiggo Cross Hybrid? Well, in my opinion, this is the utility play of small SUVs or hybrid SUVs in South Africa. It offers sprightly performance, excellent value, and a very strong warranty. And it leaves more cash in your pocket ultimately. So you can go and say to your friends, hey man, I'm saving the planet while doing it affordably. Did this car outshine the Chery Tiggo Cross petrol version, the elite version that we drove? Well, I would say yeah, but kind of sort of in a way. I mean, the petrol elite ultimately is a very good car, but this one is also sustainable and will obviously use significantly less fuel, which means less money and time spent filling up. However, if you like a little bit of oomph, minimal fuss, and not having to remember to go and plug your car in, then this one is a little bit better than that car, and you seriously should consider looking at this car. And if you're worried about the resale value, just make sure to mention, all the warranties that this car comes with. So that's my review of the Chery Tiggo Cross Hybrid Elite, or CSH Elite. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button like it's your fuel tank getting topped up affordably. Subscribe, and then, well, hit that bell icon so that you don't miss out when, well, we do all of this again. With that, thanks for watching Tyrone Paulson Drives, where the reviews are, well, honest, the jokes are kind of bad, and the cars might just surprise you. Like always, drive safe and catch you on the next one.